This month on the Unsquared Circle, Jeff Hardy does it again. The Angle Alliance divorce. More injuries and drama than Siler has victims. And here are your hosts who find it all so you don't have to, Bobby Black and Wrestling White.
Here's the news.
Hi wrestling fans. Welcome back to another edition of the Unsquared Circle.
Yes, we're back. And this is the September edition.
We're your hosts. I'm Wrestling White.
And I'm Bobby Black.
And why September's been a busy month. Did you do anything this past September, Mr. Black?
Well, no, Mr. White. Actually, I've been working and, doing research on the Unsquared Circle. But most importantly, I've been watching wrestling.
Yeah, wrestling. And also, by the way, we were looking at our comments. No one really commented. We'd appreciate your comments.
Yeah, seriously, send in your comments. Don't send us this bullcrap like you don't care. Dude, if we suck, tell us. Tell us where we can improve. We ain't no jaw-jacking duo.
Yeah.
So anyway, let's move on to one of our top stories.
And in today's top stories, Jeff Hardy seems like he was, he was involved in a serious incident at the Nashville International Airport where police had to escort him off the plane and handcuff him. WWE's keeping this one on the DL, very quiet about this one. It's not official, but he might have been intoxicated. I don't know for a fact, but don't know.
Well, basically that might be an indication with the WWE title on the line that may have screwed his chances on winning the WWE title too. That's all unconfirmed. We don't know.
I think it's funny because last time Jeff Hardy was getting ready to win a championship, his house burned down. Oh well.
3 strikes and you're out, Jeff. Sorry, man. Anyway, moving on to more top story news. Basically, in a recent interview with Kurt Angle, Kurt Angle was mentioning that TNA's gotten a little too gimmicky over the past 2 years. So Kurt Angle shows up and it becomes too gimmicky like the WWE. But basically, Kurt Angle, and I agree with Kurt Angle, is that he said it should basically be one-on-one and one-on-one action or 2-on-2 like tag team action, or however, we don't need ladder matches and last man standing match. Even though I like those matches, but I think Kurt's right that they're getting a little obsessed with those.
Yeah, me too. And yeah. It looks like that TNA is finally getting serious about their drug testing. At this week's at their recent television tapings, the wrestlers were handed a packet detailing the latest drug policy details, which TNA is apparently enacting. Regarding the situation, one wrestler said, "There will be a lot of shrinking bodies around here."
Now, whether he means that literally or figuratively,
we don't know.
We don't know, but it'd be rather funny.
It was an anonymous wrestler. Don't say it didn't. We don't know who it was, but
I'll tell you one person who probably isn't on steroids. Samoa Joe. He ain't on no steroids. Big Samoan. All right, and then moving on to the final of the top stories. Basically, the TNA in recent weeks has taken on a real life story backstage between Kurt Angle and Jeff Jarrett. Basically, Kurt Angle and Jeff Jarrett. According to sources, Jeff Jarrett is angry over the recent comments made by Kurt Angle that I just touched on earlier. And basically Jeff Jarrett says, that he founded the company and that he wants to give all these younger wrestlers a chance to grow and to become the phenomenal superstars like AJ Styles, Samoa Joe, Kaz, and I mean there's just a slew of phenomenal superstars coming out of TNA, and even guys whose careers have rekindled in TNA like Christian Cage. Booker T's kind of looking to retire in TNA, but but there's just a lot of heat between them two because last month that there was an interview out in the ring with Kurt Angle and with Jeff Jarrett, and a lot of what he said was true. Is that he's sick of all these older, more experienced wrestlers holding down the younger ones. So that's basically where Jeff Jarrett and Kurt Angle are butting heads at.
Sounds like WCW right before they sunk downhill.
Yeah, I hope not. TNA needs to get back on the straight and narrow with a lot of what they're doing. Like, they need to go back to, like, back in 2005. I started watching TNA 2005 with, you know, when Christian Cage first came over, and, you know, and they were a 1 hour program and everything, and they made the best of that hour. And I can remember all the phenomenal matches they had in an hour. I mean, what they had in 1 hour beat WWE, and you know, just what they could do in 2
or a month sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes in a month. So, any other comments?
Nope.
Well, let's move on to some of our individual and minor stories.
And to follow up with my news from the August edition with Mick Foley leaving, well, apparently one of the main reasons why he left the WWE in the first place, not only the direction it was going, but he was getting tired of yelled at. Like, you know, when Vicky Guerrero and Ed and Edge were getting married, like, he had said something. He said, you know, this is a special moment, and you know, they always have those earpieces in their ear because, you know, they're being told what to say most of the time, and Vince McMahon was saying in his ear saying something like "lay out, darn it," but I don't know. So, and right then and there, Mick wanted to leave, but he didn't. Unfortunately, because of the little incident of him leaving, he was removed from that Legends of WrestleMania games coming out next March. And on a lighter note, actually on the same note, the Macho Man is out of that game too, apparently because Vince McMahon isn't the biggest fan of him, so that really sucks because I was actually looking forward to playing as the Macho Man on that game. But what Vinnie Mac wants, Vinnie Mac gets.
Ooh, yeah!
And then, speaking of, you know, because, you know, Mick Foley went to TNA, and I don't know if you saw it last week, but he did make a brief appearance. Well, not last week, but he made an appearance this past month. But speaking of TNA, you know, Team 3D, they officially signed new contracts with TNA as of September 6th for 3 years. So obviously, they're really, really happy with TNA, and they do not want to go back to the WWE. They are quite satisfied where they are. Now, on sadder news, Karen Angle, she's filed for divorce against Kurt Angle, but she's actually still working backstage at the TNA events, and you know, resources have talked to Kurt Angle, and all Kurt Angle says is the show must go on. And then also in TNA news, that TNA Impact video game that just came out, it's been deemed passable by several credible gaming reviews. It's a good starting format, but needs a lot of improvement. And I, for one, can tell you because I've actually played that game, and it's actually really quite fun. Good graphics, good graphics. Some of the best graphics you'll see on a wrestling game. The gameplay, that's where it needs some improvement. It has a lot of potential, and I guarantee you by like the 3rd or 4th installment, they'll definitely give SmackDown a run for its money. So I'm just hoping that they keep, you know, bringing out the games and it gets better and better. And in other news, Eric Bischoff, you know, the guy who used to run WCW and then became the general manager of Raw after WCW was bought out by the WWE. Okay, he's trying to start a new wrestling promotion on the Country Music Television Network. Now, he definitely is in talks with Hulk Hogan, so more than likely Hulk Hogan will be their brother. Yeah, and Hulk Hogan's been getting into shape, you know, for that promotion, and that's all I got to say about that.